Hi everyone, I am Arin of AVI Productions, the YouTube channel you're watching right now. And I bought a camera, so I thought why not do a video with my face. We're gonna see how that's gonna work out. So the story that I am presenting forth to you for this story time video is my longest and most, I would say, impactful friendship that got ended over a series of, and I counted, 27 text messages. It's, I guess it would be considered sad to some. It's not really sad to me, especially how much time has passed since that's happened. Just for some context, all of this took part about 3 months ago. It hasn't been 3 months fully, but it happened late January. And I still have the messages, and I haven't talked to this person since this happened. But here they are. You can see them. I'll be showing the actual screenshots that I have with the name censored for privacy reasons. Context for this. I've known this person since elementary school. I'm a sophomore in college now, so that's kind of a long time. I've known them since elementary school. We didn't go to the same school, but we were both in the gifted program, gifted at our school, and that's how I first met him. And since then, I wasn't really friends with him until 10th grade. We were put on a project together, we exchanged phone numbers, and that's how it all began. I mean, I really liked having him as a friend, and I am a little bit upset that it has come to this. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that, but we've been, I would say, good friends for about the past 5 years, and after this has happened, like I said, I haven't spoken to him, but I honestly don't know if the relationship is salvageable. Now that I'm making this video, I think that that ship has sailed. It's gone to Amsterdam now. It's far away. That ship is far away. You know, I guess when it happened, I was a little upset about it, but now that it's like over, done with, I've come to terms with it. I'm kind of okay with it now. Not with the situation, but with its outcome. I don't know, I'm making new friends here. I think that's good. Hopefully these new friends won't do this to me, but you never know. Hopefully this entire thing can serve as like maybe a cautionary tale, or basically, guys, if you have a lady friend who you've known for the better part of your life and you're friends with her for 5 years, maybe don't do this. That's kind of a jerk move. Really not good, okay? Some context leading up to the messages. Let's see, this happened on January 23rd. And during the Christmas break, which wasn't really that long for us, it was 23 days, which is almost a month, but not quite. I really didn't hang out with him as much as I would have wanted to. We only hung out maybe a handful of days. I could count them on maybe 1 or 2 hands of the 23 days that we were, I guess, both in the same town. We don't go to the same school, the same college. He goes to school in one state, our original state, and I go to school in the neighboring state. So we weren't really seeing a whole lot of each other during all of this. I believe his school was like 4 hours away from mine, and neither of us drive, so it's like we weren't really seeing each other very much, is what I'm saying. And after the break had ended, I came back here. We hadn't really been talking a whole lot. January 18th was the last time we talked before all of this, so it had been a few days. I mean, usually I talk to him or text him, not every day, but like every other day, and so we hadn't really been talking for a while. And so on January, 22nd, which is the day before, the 23rd was a Wednesday, 22nd was a Tuesday, I had sent him this a funny headline from our local newspaper. We were just bantering back and forth like we usually do. Honestly, I enjoyed that conversation. And then on the 23rd, he picks it back up again. Just more banter back and forth. Then after, at about 11:15 is when he sent the first message. That really sent some alarm bells going off in my head, because I'm like, oh god, what's going on? Okay, so further context for this. Hindsight is really 20/20 when it comes to a situation like this, because I had known that he had feelings for me in the past. That's the important part, in the past. And up until this point, I thought he had a girlfriend that he was with. And at this point, I'll start reading the messages and I'll put them on screen for you. I'll be in white and he'll be in green. His name will be censored out. He comes out of the box with a nice long paragraph, and, well, I'll just read it. It says, "Hey, I want to ask you something, but it's kind of weird to ask of a friend. I'm only going to ask it once, and one time only. And if you say no, then that's the end of it. You can probably get what kind of question this is." I couldn't, because that's super vague. "So after hearing all of this, would you like to hear it or nah?" And I, being the idiot that I am, I said, "Yes, but I won't kill anyone for you, just saying." He says, "LOL, okay, and I won't ask you to kill anyone. It's just that I like you." That went way over my head. "And see you as a friend, and kinda a sister sometimes." And that is where it gets really weird, especially once you see what he asks for. And if you could tell, I guess, by the context and the tone of my voice, you might already know what's going on. But I, at the time, did not know what was going on. So that's why this really came out of nowhere for me. Yeah, that did kind of send something off in my head. But a feeling from the past starts to arise. Like I said, he said he had a crush on me before. Arise every now and again, so it makes it weird sometimes. I ask him, "Aren't you dating someone at the moment?" He says, "Nope, I wasn't gonna ask you to be my girlfriend, LOL." I say, "So y'all broke up?" He says, "Yeah, like 6 months ago." Now, bear in mind, at this time, I thought he was still with her. I say, "What? That's so long ago, why didn't you tell me?" He says, "I could have sworn I did." I don't remember him telling me, by the way. Maybe it slipped my mind. I say, "I don't remember." "So what are you trying to say with your initial statement?" Because I still am not really understanding. He says he doesn't want me to be his girlfriend, so like, what is he saying? Well, yeah, it was saddening and still kinda is. And then after that he says, "Well, the past feelings make me curious about you every now and again." About what? I don't know. Like I say, throughout this entire thing, I am super confused about what he's trying to tell me, because he's just not, number one, not coming out with it, number two, being super vague. I say, "Curious? Question mark?" He says, "About looks." I say, "My looks? What does that mean? Because what does that mean, looks?" He says, "Well, okay, I won't beat around the bush." And by the way, he continues to beat around the bush for this entire exchange until the end. "It's about seeing more of you, that's what I mean." Now, a smarter person might have read that and been like, "Whoa, he's really, being forward about this." I didn't get that from him. I don't know, maybe I was being willfully naive because I really didn't want it to be that, but I just wasn't really getting it. And so I say, "Oh, I thought you were gonna call me ugly for a sec. We are kind of far away though." Now that, okay, going back to the earlier context of us not hanging out a lot during the Christmas break, I thought that just meant he wanted to visit me more because we hadn't really seen each other a whole lot. And I did feel a little guilty about that, I will admit, but I was just so tired. All I wanted to do was sleep during the break. And I mean, that's pretty much all I want to do during any break now. College, yay. He says, "LOL, no, you're not ugly at all, and don't beat yourself up like that." A lot of these texts, they kind of skip each other because I'm typing while he's typing, and then I send stuff while he's typing things to me, so it gets out of order. And so he sends the LOL no text as I'm typing this one. And so I say, "And I've betrayed Steve Jobs' ghost by getting an Android phone, so no FaceTime." He says, "And true, but we always have the phone, so what can we use? And you understand what I mean by seeing more of you, right?" I did not at this point. I still didn't. I had an idea, but I really did not want it to be that. That's what I'm saying. He says, "Poor Steve," as in Steve Jobs. We don't stand Steve Jobs, by the way. Not on this channel. Just letting you know. Tim Cook, maybe. Steve Jobs, definitely not. I say, trying to diffuse the situation, I guess, and I'm like really hoping it's not this at this point. And I say, nothing unchristian-like, I hope. We can't do those kinds of things here on God's campus. I go to a Christian school, by the way. That's a whole nother bag of worms. A little true, but what if it was what I meant? God forgive. That one didn't really make a whole lot of sense. I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to type with one hand, but... So I say, did you mean like visiting or something? I'm still a touch confused. He says, LOL, I don't think I can visit you. Kinda don't have a car, and I don't think you do either. I still don't. And then he says something that, red flag number 1. I mean, all of this is honestly a red flag, but this is definitely a red flag. Now I kind of catch on. This is the part when I catch on to what he wants. He says, seeing parts unseen, LOL. I say, well, you aren't missing out on much, because he's not. This wasn't a flat out no, but I feel in my head that this should have been enough of a negative response, I guess, to say like, hey, maybe let's not do that. I don't know. I really don't know. He asks me, why do you say that? I say, there's nothing particularly spectacular about my parts unseen, other than that they belong to me, I guess. That's kind of the case with anyone you're into, really. I guess I tried to just like rationalize it by, I don't know, explaining to myself. Really it's to myself, but also to him why he's thinking that way or something. It doesn't make sense. He says, true, they are just natural parts of us, but it's still something I'm curious about. Now, I want to take a break, and I just want to reiterate. I've known him since elementary school. We have been friends for 5 years at this point, because it's safe to say we're not friends anymore. I don't know. Like, okay. I'm gonna try to formulate a thought. You can be curious about it, but you don't have to tell me that. I don't, like, okay. I would like to make abundantly clear, by the way, that I've made no, I don't even know the word for it. I haven't made it like I'm interested in him. I wasn't interested in him. I am currently not interested in him. And I have never been interested in him. And I told him that maybe in not so nice terms when he first brought it forth, when we first became friends in the 10th grade, because he did spring the, hey, I like you, you want to go out on me? And I told him that I just wanted to be friends. That was true, I did just want to be friends, and I enjoyed being friends with him. So I don't see how he took that as like, hey, maybe she wants to send me nudes. I don't know, I don't understand the thought process in that. I've never showed interest in him, so I don't understand. I don't understand, bitch. Don't understand. I cannot comprehend. I am unable of comprehension right now. I can't even talk. That's how unbelievable all of this is. Sadly, there's more, so we're going to move on. After that, I say, I mean they exist. That's all you really need to know. I was not born a man. I'm not proud of that, by the way. I don't know. It may not be 100% transphobic, but it almost sounds like it, okay? And I'm going to say preemptively that I am sorry. He says, though if this makes you uncomfortable, then I'm fine with not seeing them. Just say, no, you're not. And yeah, okay, gotcha. Now, well, you aren't missing out on much. That's not a flat out no. But I feel like that should be a, you know, an implied no. And I don't know, man. I don't know. And so after that, I say, which this next one should have really been a no. Should have been a flat out heck no, okay? I say, I'm not the nude sending type to anyone. I say, Red could come back with a lot of hundreds and I still wouldn't. More context. Red was a nickname for this guy that I went on one date with my freshman year. Basically, I had a crush on him for a while. And so apparently, this wasn't enough for him. This was not enough for him. That the I'm not the nude sending type to anyone with the added hyperbole at the end wasn't enough for him. That's the really baffling part. about all of this. All of that wasn't enough. He goes on to say, last thing, and I understand, but obviously he doesn't understand. Like, come on, all of that and you don't understand? Really? Really? But is that to say that you wouldn't be willing to show if we video chatted? Now that is what set me off. That made me so mad. Like, are you serious? After I just said all of that, you're not understanding? You don't understand, fam. You don't, okay? And it's maddening. It's maddening, it's what it is. It's like, what have I been saying all of this time? Like, and what would give you the inclination that, number one, I would be willing to send nudes to you, and two, that I would be willing to send nudes to anyone? Because we've had this conversation before, which I know sounds kind of weird. I mean, it still holds true. I'm not the nude sending type. I rebut with, again, like I said, we were like sending and typing at the same time, so it's like kind of out of order. Do you know how much grief girls at SHS, that's the abbreviated name of my high school, while we were there, have gotten because of that stuff? Yeah, no thanks. And it's not like I'm lying about that either. There have been multiple instances of girls sending pictures to guys, and videos too, to guys, and they just get spread around school. Like, they don't care. The guys just do not care. And it's sad. Girls have been, like, one time there was a girl who got, like, taken out of school because of this. Not, like, expelled or anything, but her parents, or her mom, I guess, like, pulled her out of school because of this. And she had to go to a different school. Like, that's, like, she couldn't even be in the same environment after that happened. That's how serious this stuff can be. And I don't want to soapbox, but I'm going to anyways. Once you send something like that, it becomes not in your control anymore. Like, once that leaves your phone, it's not yours anymore. You don't have any control over what happened to it. And even if, I guess, if any of you remember the fappening from 2014, even if you do think, you know, you're sending them to a trusted person over a secure server, we all saw Jennifer Lawrence naked. I mean, it's just sad, is what I'm saying, and I don't want something like that to happen to me. Not like I would, one, take a naked picture, or two, send one, but like, I just don't want that to happen to me, you know? I want to be in control of my own body, basically, is what I'm saying. The next message after that I send in all caps. I'm not showing you my boobs and or vag. I don't want to be harsh, but I think that should go without saying. He says, and I see. I hope I didn't offend you. He did. And make you think less of me. I do. And yeah, because people love showing them off to each other, which is dumb. Okay. See, there's some, I don't know what's going on in his head when he's thinking this. Like, does he really think I'm fool enough to believe that once I send them to him, they're not going to go anywhere else? Like, even if I didn't send a picture, like if we video chatted like he suggested earlier on, that he wasn't going to take screenshots and save them, like, I'm not an idiot, I'm not stupid, okay? I know how this works, alright? I'm not going to fall victim to that, alright? It's not going to happen to me. Man, I'm mad now. And this one really confused me, and just because, like, other people love showing them off doesn't mean that I would love showing them off. I'm not other people, and I tell him that in my next message. You've known me long enough to know that I'm not people. He says, nah, that's not the expected answer. Just a thought I had randomly. I don't even know what that means. Yes wasn't the expected? Oh wait, no, I think that's what he meant. He expected me to say no, but he went and asked anyways. Like, okay, I guess that approach might work. Like, I didn't know. Like, okay, I've asked some guys out who I expected to say no, and they did say no, by the way. And I mean, I kind of just wanted to do it just to see what would happen, like if they would say yes. So I guess I could see where he's coming from with that. But I mean, asking a guy out and asking to see someone's jugs is kind of different. So he says, just a thought I had randomly. And I say, let's just leave it at that, because I am getting fired up right now. Like I was a minute ago. That's how I was feeling. And so it doesn't stop after that. He asked me, let's see, I believe he asked me before what I was doing, you know, just a typical text. He asked me how many classes I had left, and asked me what I was doing. I said I was writing, because I'm a writer, allegedly. I write, that's what I do, that's what I'm going to school for. Basically, he asked me what I'm writing about, I tell him what I'm writing about, and then he texts me later in the day, and I don't respond because I'm just like, what on earth just happened? Like, what happened, you know? Like, did all of that really just happen? Am I imagining that? I don't know. It's like, did that really just happen? And for like the entire rest of the day and that next day, I was like in a state of shock because I was wondering, like, first of all, why would he ask me that? If he knew my stance on that and he knew that I had no feelings for him in that way, like, why would he do that? That's just stupid. I woke up that next day, Thursday, still in shock because I didn't know, like, how do you react to that, number one, and I was still in shock, you know? Like, I didn't really want to believe that it happened, and I just really didn't know what to do. I basically went through the entire day, like, my day was sufficiently ruined, by the way. I could safely say that that was a pretty bad day, for me, at least. Just, it was weighing on me heavily, you know? I didn't really expect that to affect me the way that it did, and how it continues to affect me. I just didn't expect that to happen. Like, I don't know. I didn't really expect it to be, you know, water off a duck's back, but I didn't expect me to be, like, you know, sad over it, all of that happening, but I was. It got to a point where I couldn't really keep it to myself. I had to ask someone about this, like, what on earth do I do, you know? Like, ugh, how do you even react to that? So I do a couple of things. I don't know how I feel about this first one. I don't care. I mean, I don't even know if this is like something to be ashamed of, but I went on, I believe it was the relationship advice subreddit. I made a throwaway. And so I had written a little bit about it, and I had showed them the screenshots with the name out, obviously. And I think overall people were telling me to ditch him. Some people were telling me to ditch him, some people were telling me to give him a second chance, and of course there were some real meme lords out there telling me to just send him the nudes. I made the thread Wednesday night, and then Thursday I read some of the responses, and that's what they were telling me. I can either ditch him, keep him around, and hope that he doesn't do the same thing, or just send the nudes. Which I obviously wasn't gonna do, okay? that wasn't even an option. Like, I guess Reddit is an okay place to get advice, but I really need to ask someone that I knew, as someone that knew both of us. And so I asked my other friend, who will remain nameless. I tried to call him that night, I remember, after I made the thread, but before I went to bed. I tried to call him that night, but he didn't pick up before that night class, like twice. And he didn't pick up, and so I texted him, said, please call me before this time, which was whenever my night classes starts, like before 6. I said, please call me before 6, this is really important. I just really needed to talk to him about it. Now, me and him had been friends for way longer than me and the nudes guy had been friends for. Like, I had met him in the 6th grade. I just moved to a new school, I didn't really know anybody, and we really hit it off, we became friends, we had a lot in common, etc, etc. He never tried to pull any of this on me, by the way. So now I know who my real friend is. It's probably gonna be also very awkward, and I'll tell you why. The thing is that the guy who I tried to call and nudes guy are roommates in college. So I mentioned in my thread that I wanted to consult him about it, and some people were telling me not to because that might drive a wedge between their friendship, and I don't know what became of it, since I legit haven't talked to either of them since January, so I don't know what's happened. He calls me as I'm walking to class. I'm like, oh, darn it. I answer, I tell him, hey, this is a really bad time. He called me after class, get out of class at this time, and he says, yeah, he should be able to. And so I go through class. It's a video editing class, that's not really relevant. But actually it is kind of relevant because during that time, that was the only time that I was able to forget about any of that, because I do really enjoy video editing. I edit all of my videos, even though I have very few of them. I still edit all of them. I enjoy it. It's something that makes me happy, you know. And while I was working on my assignment for the night. You know, it was the only time during those 2 days that I was able to stop thinking about it. I guess that says where I was in my headspace at that time. After class gets out, I get out a little early because I finish everything that I need to do for the class. And I start walking back to my dorm, and I call him back, and he answers pretty much right away. And so I told him about it. I asked him, number one, if he was in the room with him. He said he wasn't even on campus at the time. So I thought, okay, good. So I lay out the situation to him. I tell him what happened. I read him the messages. I read him some of the messages, not all of them. And he's speechless, number one. He's like, can't even talk for a few seconds. He just says, wow, I can't believe he did that, you know? And I can't believe he did it either. I still can't believe he did it. And so he's like, yeah, that's really not good of him for him to do. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. This happened some months ago and I don't remember the conversation fully. And I tell him that I wanted to confront him about it. And so he says, yeah, that's probably a good idea for me to call him, to like actually tell him. Because I tell my other friend like how much that had affected me. Like I couldn't focus, my mood was in the gutter. I was just all over the place, you know, and I really wasn't having a good time those 2 days. And so I say, okay, thanks for the advice. I hang up, I get back to my room, and I call him. And he answers. And he answers really weirdly too. It's like, you know, it's like, hey, Arin, what's up? It's as if he completely forgot what had happened not even 24 hours ago. And so I say, hey, what's up? And he's like, you know, not much, just hanging out. And so I'm like, well, I want to talk about yesterday. And he's like, what happened yesterday? And like, I'm seething. I'm close to seething. Not quite, but I'm close. I'm like, you know what happened yesterday? And he's like, oh, that. And I say, yeah. What you said, I didn't appreciate it. I'm not gonna go through what I said. I talked to him for not even 30 minutes, only about 25 minutes about it. And it's basically me talking for the entire time. I just kind of like ramble on sometimes. I say, you know, hey, I didn't appreciate that yesterday. I don't know why you did it. It's kind of, you know, it weighed heavily on me. And I told him that I told him about it. Oh, Jesus Christ, I just said his name. I'm gonna blurb that out. I told our mutual friend about it, and he knows what you did. I sent him the messages. I don't appreciate what you did. I don't know why you did it. I just want to understand, you know, why you did that. And he basically said, oh, you know, he apologized. He said it was a lapse in judgment. I don't know if he used that phrase, but that's basically what he said. He said that he wouldn't do it again. I would sure hope not. You know, actually, I should mention that, like, between Wednesday and Thursday, I was really scared that he was gonna send me a dick pic. I did not want that happening, and I honestly felt that that might happen. It didn't happen though, thank God. I don't know why I did this. This is the majority of the conversation, honestly. I started soapboxing about sending nudes to people and the dangers of it. I'm gonna try to wrap this up really quickly because I've been going for a while now anyways. He says he understands, and he doesn't really say a whole lot, honestly, other than that he apologized. And that was that. I usually end my phone calls with him with I'll talk to you later, you know, as you do normally. But this time I ended with, I don't know when the next time I'm gonna talk to you is. It might be a while. And now I'm thinking that it might not be ever, which is kind of sad, I guess. But it is what it is, you know? It's kind of a messed up story though, but it's one that I guess I can laugh at now because now that so much time has passed, I'm okay with it not being his friend anymore. I have other friends now, and they're probably not gonna ask me to show my chebs on camera, so I mean, I really hope so. This video was very therapeutic, I guess. Yeah, that's how it is. You know, I got one less friend and now I might have trust issues, who knows. I guess that's it for me now. If you feel compelled to click the like button, then that's on you, fam. And you can subscribe if you want to, but I'm not gonna upload that often. And if you have any, I guess, questions about it, the situation, I don't know what questions you would have. I guess like how to deal with it, maybe. If you have questions about that, you can comment them below or DM me on Twitter because my DMs are open. If you like want to share a similar story, I would love to hear it. Now that I do have this fancy pants camera that overheats very easily, I am going to try to make more videos. So you might be seeing more of this face very soon. Hopefully though, I will have my acne cleared up because it's kind of bad, not gonna lie. Anyways, I'm gonna turn the camera off now. Goodbye.